everybody. Welcome to RefTime, powered by RTS and produced by Coraggio Media. I'm Tanya.
And I'm Crane. We'll be covering rules, plays, points of emphasis, and all things official. That's the dirty joke.
I'm thinking of.
Welcome to another segment of RefTime. We're here with our brand new setup today, and we're in the studio of Public Access Television downtown, beautiful Fort Wayne, Indiana. And with us, we have a guest with us that has appeared before, and he has been with RTS for, how long have you been with us, Cole?
Since January.
Of what year?
No,
Of this year?
no, before
it
then.
started.
It's before then.
Okay, well.
Oh, I didn't do the intro. I got to do the intro.
Yeah, you didn't even
right,
say
right.
his name
Let me
yet.
do it right.
I'm sorry.
So with us today, we have the great, the one, the only, the Koby. I started to say Kobe cheese. I didn't do that.
Sims.
Koby. Oh, I like that. That was good. Koby.
Sims.
You like that?
I like that. Nice
See,
little
I was
ring
going to
to it.
drag out the Sims. She's like,
Yes.
Sims.
That's what he likes to do.
okay.
Drag out the name, like like when you played basketball and they called your name out. They want to.
Kobe. Yeah.
Sims. But she likes the Sims.
Right.
And your last name is S-I-1-M.
One M.
S-I-M-S.
Yes, sir. One M.
And there are some S-I-M-M-S's in town, aren't there?
Well, I think Coach. Well, I don't know if Coach Ray Sims was.
No, it was one M.
It was one M as well. Okay.
But you're not related.
No, we're not related.
No, but you
Everybody thought that because I went to Snyder,
you
and
went to Snyder.
he fought as soon as I graduated. He came in, so they were asking him, was I his son? And I was getting all kind of questions. Was he my dad and all that? So, nope. But no, just the only Sims that, well, of course, my daughter that just graduated from Snyder, Sierra, and then my niece Akila Sims went through Snyder, and then my sister Kiva Sims. So that's pretty much my only family of Sims that went through Snyder.
So you guys have had a pretty long history of standout athletes at Snyder.
Yeah, I would like to say that a little
What
bit.
sports did you stand out in?
Just football.
Football?
Yeah,
You didn't play basketball there at
I
all?
didn't. I tried out, and I put all my eggs in one basket back then. I was just like, I'm gonna stick with football. I was good in basketball though. That was one of my regrets in not playing. Because honestly, even all my years of playing football, basketball is probably like my favorite sport.
It's funny, a lot
I
of
hear
people
that from
tell
all
us
the
that.
football players.
Baseball's my best sport, but I love basketball.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I feel like Ahmad Rashad. You know what I'm saying? He was played in the NFL and ended up being one of the best NBA commentators ever. You know what I'm saying? So that's where I am with this. So.
Usually when we're talking to players, we'll ask them, the young ones will say, okay, what sport you play? And they'll tell us, well, I play football.
Yeah.
Okay, well, what's your favorite sport? And they'll say, well, basketball. I say, well, what's your best sport? And they go, oh, well, football.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's the reason why I played football. That was definitely the best sport.
So what was your position?
Well, in high school I was a wide receiver,
Okay.
and then
I took you for a defender.
I ended up becoming a defender because at high school I was small. Like I graduated high school like 5'11", 185, 190.
You were tiny.
Yeah, I was tiny. And then I went to St. Fran. Well, my first year, I played a little semi-pro ball with the Rhinos. I'm sure y'all remember River City Rhinos.
Are they still operating?
There's some form of the Rhinos, but they're not called the Rhinos anymore.
Okay.
But anyway, I had played with them for a year, and then I ended up going to St. Francis and playing there. And when I got to St. Francis, I just kept getting bigger and bigger.
Well, they
and
put you in the
bigger.
weight room in college.
Right,
so.
for sure. And then just genetics. 'Cause my dad, he's like real
Huge.
big. Yeah, exactly right.
Baby Rhino,
Right,
he is.
exactly.
Yeah.
And all my.
What was his
family.
nickname? Was his nickname Hulk?
Well, probably his name is Hank, but they don't call him Big Hank. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, but so it was just naturally. You know what I'm saying? I just started growing into my body. So when I was in college, I was like 6'1". I think I had gotten up to like 210. And then I was playing wing back at that time, a receiver still at St. Francis. But then the coaches used to be like, man, you keep getting bigger, man. We moving you to defense. Yeah, and then that's exactly what ended up happening. I ended up getting hurt, and then I left St. Francis, came back playing semi-pro again, just trying to go up the little pro ranks like that. And that's when I started playing defense at linebacker and all that. So I had a little journey in it. I played a little bit of everything. I like to consider myself as a versatile player back then.
So now you got your basketball license within the past year.
Yes.
To be a ref.
To be an official.
Yeah, correct, yes.
And have you thought about getting into football officiating?
I thought about it. I figured I wanted to get my feet wet here first in basketball, and then eventually, get off into football. That way I can pretty much be officiating year round at that point, and then even, expand into, who knows, like volleyball. I know you all do volleyball, and I've actually been a line judge at my daughter's volleyball game before in middle school.
Yeah.
So
How was that?
it was fun. At first I was like, I'm not doing that, but it was, once I got out there, it was actually pretty fun to do. So I can see maybe one day venturing off in that. But I love basketball, so I was like, this is gonna be the start for me right there. I don't know if I don't like being out in that cold in football,
Right,
So,
and that's that's the funny thing, because we'll have a lot of people come up to us and say, well, we need football officials. Of course, every sport needs officials, right?
I'm saying
Short
to
of
them, you still gonna need them after
You're
this
gonna need 'em,
conversation.
because I do not do outdoor activities.
Right, exactly.
And so
Now
we
did
do
we
lacrosse.
did try.
We
y'all?
Well,
tried.
I shouldn't say try. We actually
We
had
did
2
it.
seasons in girls lacrosse.
And it was
Okay.
insane because their time frame is the spring,
okay.
which is when it's still
April and
snowing.
May.
Snow and raining.
And
all
raining.
that.
Indiana's thawing out in
Indiana
April.
doesn't
Right,
know what it's
exactly.
doing. It's
Remember the first
chaotic.
one we went out to?
Yeah, it was at Trine. We were up at Trine University.
Now she's going to embellish a little bit.
Oh, it's
but go
not
ahead.
embellishment. It was sleeting
Oh.
and snowing, and it was freezing. And
See.
there's girls out there running around because in lacrosse they wear skirts,
Okay. Wow.
which is a short and a skirt
Okay.
together, right?
Oh yeah.
For those that don't know that. But they run around in these things, and they're out there in their skirts. Of course, they had something on underneath.
They'd have long
Yeah, they
sleeve
got-
shirt.
yeah,
on.
little
But
Long
still,
sleeve
they
pants or
were out
something
there
on,
and they
yeah.
were like, Coach, can I go in? Can I go in?
wow.
And I'm out there and I'm like, I'm going up. I'm going up to the heat.
I know that's
So
right.
I'll watch you from up here. But that was our training.
And if you can imagine, this is my partner I'm working with who's trying to leave the field to go to heat. And I'm just run around and stay warm, just like
There
that.
was, no, it wasn't run around and stay
There was
warm.
nothing
No.
you could do.
Now,
at
do you
that
know
point.
anything about lacrosse?
I don't.
Man, we didn't know a thing about it either. But just to talk about how bad the need is for officials, we're out there. The trainer, Darla,
Okay.
she trained us, and when we passed the test on, I think that Friday evening, she goes, "Okay, I got to." No, she called us and said, "I need you guys to pass the
It
test."
was
'cause I
like a
need you Saturday."
Thursday when we finished the test, and
Right.
she's like, "Okay, now we're sending you up to Goshen, and you're gonna go do
And I
a
was like,
middle school
Darla,
game."
I don't know what I'm doing. She goes, "I got 2 questions." She says, "Do you know how to blow your whistle and stop the players from running?" I goes, "Yeah, I do that all the time." She goes, "Can you keep the players safe?" I can blow my whistle and keep them safe. She goes,
Exactly.
"That's all we need."
That's all we need.
Yeah.
And we went out there.
We
and
get up there. Now, first of all, when we get up there, we have to check the field.
Okay.
And really, we're checking them for potholes so we don't
Oh,
step
wow.
in
Right,
holes
for
and
sure.
break our ankles.
So,
Go
right.
for- yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So we get up there, we're kind of walking around. I don't really know what I'm looking for. I just know I don't want to step in a hole.
Right.
So we're looking at that. Then
we
we
were
have to
experts. We were ready.
Oh no. We had to check their crosses. I'm like,
Now, wait a minute. What's a cross, Kobe?
They're stick.
Very
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
Ding, 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 ding,
yeah,
ding.
that's their
right.
stick.
Because I didn't have a clue. I was like, a cross? Carrying a cross?
Yeah.
Right.
And so and then, in the middle of this game, so first of all, it was lovely because no one yelled at us.
That's different.
That now I have to admit that is a good part because
But it
they're
was
so
middle
far
school.
off
So
the
far
field.
away.
But it was
Right,
middle
right.
school.
Yeah.
Okay.
They didn't have a clue what they were doing.
The coaches didn't
I don't think
know.
the coaches knew what they were
Right.
doing, and we sure as heck didn't know what we were doing. And so we're up there, we're like blowing our whistle, and we'll say, okay, you go back there.
Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
Because
take
on
a
a
couple more.
penalty, they're supposed
Yeah.
to go back. I think it was 3 meters.
Okay.
Kobe, what's a meter?
That was-
Right.
yeah, I
So
still
we're
don't
supposed to
know.
know what a
Right.
meter is, and I had no idea. So I'd say, 3 meters, please, and
Oh,
she'd
wow.
step back, and I'll go. No, take 2 more steps. One more step.
Another meter, please.
I don't know what a meter is, and I hate to say this on air, but I really didn't know what we were doing
We
out
would-
there. I
we
really
didn't know.
Right. Okay.
But, we get out there, we're doing this, and it started snowing.
Yeah.
Wow.
in the middle of the game, and
So it's
I'm
turned
thinking,
from
And she's
sleep,
mad at
sleep
me.
to
yeah, I'm mad at him
Why
because
you
he
get me
got
out
yes,
here, right?
exactly.
She's the one that got us in them.
No, I
'Cause
didn't.
that was about to be my question. Like, what made you all decide to?
I'll tell
do
you
it?
how. Well, it's an interesting story because I was interested in getting into soccer, and she
okay.
didn't want to officiate.
I didn't
soccer.
want to do soccer
I like
either
soccer.
A lot
because
of
again,
running.
it's outdoors.
Well, I know,
That's why I
and that's a
wanted.
whole
That's
lot
why I
of running
wanted.
right there.
You know, to help me
Right.
stay in shape, get
Sure.
in shape.
I need turf.
Yeah, I hear that.
So I wanted to do soccer. So we go to the end of the year banquet for officials.
Okay.
And I remember that's when it was being held out south.
Out at Lester's.
Lester's.
Okay.
Out by Quimby Village.
Oh, yeah.
So we walk in there, and I'm looking for the soccer table.
Okay.
And so I'm walking around asking officials that I know, and I remember asking Darla. She says, "Hey, Crane Time." I say, "Hey, Darla, where are the soccer officials sitting?" She goes, "Oh, you don't want to look for the soccer officials." I'm like, "Excuse me?" She goes, "Look, we got open seats. It doesn't matter. Just have a seat." Now she's setting me up the whole time. I didn't know what was going on. So we sit down, and she goes, "So why do you want to do soccer?" And I said, "Well, I like the running. I like the idea of just being out in the open air.
Right.
I don't know much about it, but it looks like an interesting sport." And she goes, "Well, you don't want to do soccer." And I say, "I don't." And she goes, "No." "Okay, what do I want to do?" "You want to do girls lacrosse."
Oh wow.
Move your head like this, girls. And I go, "What's girls lacrosse?" And she said,
That was
"You
a
haven't
setup.
heard of
That was a
lacrosse?"
setup.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right.
She haven't heard of lacrosse. I said, "No." She goes, "Well, it's similar to basketball." I'm going,
That's how she lured you in.
Yo,
right there.
got
Exactly.
me hook, line,
Exactly.
and sinker.
Right.
She says, it's similar to, she says, first of all, they have
I'm just sitting there shaking my head the whole time.
she said, first of all, they have a net. I was like, okay, cool.
my
She goes, they
goodness.
have a ball.
wow.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
She goes,
Well,
the
the net they
soccer,
throw
so-
the ball into,
It's
and
big.
then the net that they
net
catch
that
the
they catch.
ball.
Oh, yeah.
So they have
Yeah.
two
For
different
sure.
nets. And she says, and there's a lot of running. Okay. She says, actually, there's more than basketball. Oh, I'm liking this.
Yeah.
And then she says, and the size of the field. I said, whoa, field. She goes, yeah, the size of the field. She says, but you're long legs. You can handle it. Oh, okay.
You
Next
wanted
thing
to
I know-
run.
Right.
Next thing you know, I'm doing this lacrosse sport. Then I started doing some research. Did you know lacrosse was originally a Native American sport, Indians?
No, I didn't know. that.
And when they first started this sport, they had no boundaries.
Okay.
So they could run for miles.
Right.
Wow. Oh, wow.
Seriously.
Well,
Their
what net
goal,
were they throwing the ball into?
they would just
Right.
come back and probably throw it between, I don't know, two trees, or maybe they built a net. But there was
man.
no end, there was no sidelines.
No sidelines,
So they
but
could
there was
just-
end lines. They had to have had
Okay.
a net to throw the ball into.
I don't know if there was a
or
net,
something.
but there was
Or
a
something.
goal to throw it in or
Right.
through.
But
And
you
I
can
thought,
get there any way.
Any way you
anywhere
wanted to. So if
possible.
you went over to the neighboring county
Right.
and came back, or territory, if you will.
Right.
So yeah, the lacrosse was interesting. 2 seasons of it, though it was
Okay.
interesting. Because here's the thing, and you probably know this: when you come into officiating, a lot of people will come in with one sport they're interested in,
Right.
and then they won't
Like
venture
you.
out.
Right. Exactly.
Then they won't venture out. But I think you're considering it
Like him. How
'Cause
long,
I did.
Yeah. How long did you do basketball? 20-some years before I
Before I even-
made you get into
She
volleyball?
loves telling people that. Well, she
Wow.
brought the idea to me, and I considered it. We'll put it
Okay.
that way.
Right.
Yeah, that's why he's been licensed in volleyball now for what,
I was
10 years?
and loving it
Yeah.
probably now.
I do.
Yes.
Yeah.
I do.
There
It's
you
been
go.
on 11 years. And I'll tell you, I didn't want to do volleyball because I thought it was a sissy sport.
Right.
But I didn't know anything about it.
I was gonna say because I love playing volleyball. I ain't, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
The one thing
Yeah.
about volleyball
Well, and now they've
players-
added boys to the high school level. So
Right.
now we can also officiate boys, which is nice because that's the spring sport. So now I'm technically in a 3-sport,
There
you know, cycle.
Yeah, there
So
you
we
go.
do volleyball in the fall, which is
Right.
girls.
Yep.
Then we do the boys and girls basketball in the winter.
Right.
And then in the spring I've got boys volleyball.
Boys volleyball.
So,
Yeah.
And my first exposure, you mentioned line judging, volleyball.
Oh, yeah.
I love line judging.
Do you?
Oh, I love it, and I think the reason is because when I officiate, I've got a lot more responsibility than when I line judge. Line judging, really, you only have 6 things you're responsible for, 6 certain signals,
Okay.
and 5 of which you use the most. But when I got exposed to men's volleyball, women's volleyball and college line judging, that was
Intense.
the athletes are just amazing.
Really?
Then when I saw men, it was just a whole nother level.
For
super
sure.
super intense.
I bet.
Because those guys, I mean, even the females, they have verticals that just put basketball players jumping
Oh,
above
yeah.
to the shame.
Oh yeah.
And then the timing of hitting that ball and the liberos when they can catch that ball or the pancaking, it's a very the first term I heard was a very civilized sport.
Very
And then the
civilized.
next time,
Yeah.
when I analyze it myself, I go, wow, this is a very intense in sport that has to do with details. It's a lot of details in volleyball.
No doubt.
And so as an official, you have to be acutely aware of all those details that can happen in a spur of a moment.
Yeah.
That, and you better be watching for that ball when they be spiking real hard. Hasn't one ever come flying your way?
On a regular basis.
Yeah. Well, especially when we're not on the ladder.
Right.
When they're just warming up, that's when you really need to
Yeah,
be
that's when
alert.
you
When you
get
got
knocked
balls
out.
flying everywhere, that's when you'll get knocked out.
So
Yeah.
the line judges, that is when you're up on the ladder then.
The ladder is what they call the R1.
Okay, I was just
like
saying
in
because I
basketball.
was watching the baseline. That's
Those
what
are line
That's
judges.
what I was doing.
Yeah,
when
so
I
you have
had
a
to do it.
flag.
Yeah, I had the flag.
Yeah,
You're a
you're a
line
line
judge.
judge.
Okay,
But
yeah, that's
you're
what I did.
considered an official. You're part of the officiating team.
Yes.
Right. Okay.
Line judge 1, line judge 2.
Okay.
The line judge 2 is the furthest away from the person on the ladder. The line judge 1 is to the right
Okay.
of
The R1.
The R1.
Gotcha.
So the one thing about volleyball, and we just completed a class with a volleyball student. The thing about volleyball that's different from basketball as an official is you get you can get real mind fatigue.
Okay.
Because you think about it, in volleyball, if you're the one up on the ladder, your eyes are moving constantly, and then you're watching this, and other, and your head's turning, and then
Right.
you have to remember which signal to give and the right point to the right team, and
Right.
you have to communicate with your line judges, and your R2, you have to communicate with them, and
Yeah.
she is the chairperson for volleyball for Lime City Association.
Which
Oh,
is
wow, okay.
Huntington.
Yeah, so when we
Okay.
started teaching that class, we'll probably be expanding maybe into the Huntington area with the classes. We don't know, but
Yeah.
so yeah, if you want to think about volleyball, man, it's
Well, actually going to be doing another class in August. So
Really.
Yep.
I'm definitely going to consider that. Maybe not this time around, but here in the near future for
So
sure.
let's talk about you. We're
Yes.
talking a lot about
well. Let me tell you
lacrosse and volleyball.
before we do that, I just want to tell you the one thing I love about volleyball is I'm running all season, and then basketball,
Right.
and then when I get done running, and then the volleyball season comes in for club volleyball
Yeah.
and for the boys high school.
Right.
Then my body can kind of take a break from
rest a little
running,
bit, yeah.
and I can still be around the sport of athletes. So go ahead.
Okay, cool.
So obviously you got into officiating,
Yes.
which we were super excited, and you did some training, so you got got all acclimated to that.
Right.
Koby
So
Sims.
you haven't done a ton of officiating, but what can you tell us so far maybe that has been a highlight for you?
Well,
I mean, besides working with us, of course.
I was going to say
Right.
that for sure, But the highlight for me was just actually getting out there, you know what I'm saying, for my first ever, game with you all, and then on my own, just because I had been having an interest in this. Like, well, first of all, let me back up. I never had an interest in reffing at first. I was like, I
You were
never
great
ref.
from the stands, though.
Yeah, I definitely. I was just say I
Perfect
was,
ref from the
I was
stands.
a perfect ref from the stands. Like now I'm like, man, is this payback for what I used to be out there in the crowd? You know what I'm saying? But I never thought I could be. I never thought I would want to be a ref because I had actually had my license a long time ago when I worked for the YMCA. Was running a wide ball league,
Okay.
and they just required me to have my license. I didn't have to actually ref, but one game I did get out there because some refs ended up calling in, and the fans they about ran
Imagine
me
that.
out. They about
That
ran me
happens.
out the building.
Now,
you know what I'm saying?
I'm curious. You said you were a ref before. Were you licensed?
Well, no, I was.
Yeah, that's what
I
he
was. I had my license. I had my license, but I didn't.
From Indiana, from
Oh, yeah.
Indiana
Oh,
High
yeah.
School
Yeah.
Athletics
Oh yeah, I
Association.
had to do that to run
So
the
you had
program.
to take the test before.
Oh yeah, this was a long time ago. This was back in.
Is that when they had to fill in the bubble?
I believe so. Yeah.
Yeah.
This was like around 2000, like 2000,
I don't
2001,
know, it might have been
2002.
online then.
Yeah.
So
I don't
you
know.
actually took the test and passed it.
I did.
No, I still was doing bubbles in
did.
'97.
Were you?
Yeah.
I
You
did.
took the test and passed it.
Yeah, they gave me
You
the
remember
book
your
and I had
score?
to. I have no idea. No, I don't
We're
know.
really gonna have to do some nostalgic study on this.
Right.
one.
Yeah.
Yes, because you
This-
did say at the beginning that he was on. This is the second time that you've interviewed him on
Right.
TV.
But the first time I guess he was a child.
Yes,
Yes.
I was a freshman in
freshman
high
high
school.
school.
Yeah.
What were you guys talking about then? Do you remember?
Well, it was my friend had got involved in it was just a violent situation. He got shot and everything,
okay.
and
Did they live?
Yeah, they live. Trinae Jordan. You know,
Oh,
so,
yeah. You
yeah.
told us that, yeah.
Yes, yeah, right.
I remember that was a big deal. That was a big story.
That was
it
a big
was.
story.
Because
in
he got
Fort
shot
Wayne.
in the head, if I
He
remember
did,
right.
and it wasn't meant for him. You know, he was just at the Y, like I was just talking about, at the Y. He got
But if
caught.
I remember right, the bullet is still in his skull.
It is.
They couldn't take it out.
They
Or it
couldn't
would
take
kill
it
him.
out. Exactly. So,
Wow.
but he's living a great life now,
Yes.
doing
He has
very
a
well.
family.
Yeah, exactly. Doing well in Tennessee. Think he's preaching and all that now.
And
so.
he's,
Very good.
I think he's into music too.
Oh yeah, he's always been into that. But that's why I was on the show, because that was a good friend of mine back then. So they knew me. It was myself and I would say like 3 or 4 others that we were all real cool. And
I remember.
yeah. And they
remember.
came and got us out of class. It was like y'all need counseling.
He said that was really good. That was
Right.
that's
Oh
icing.
yeah.
So you came on the show to do counseling?
Pretty much, pretty much.
Yeah, he did
Yeah.
because I think we had you guys on, and you were. I think that was counseling for you guys, but it was also to help other kids.
It was.
And
And
that
not
was
process at all.
right. That was our
Right.
way of kind
So
of
did they
helping
get
Fort
the
Wayne used
person
to.
that shot him? Or?
They did.
Yeah, they
They
found
did.
him.
They did.
I remember that was a real. You know, I'm
Yeah, that
taking
was a
me
huge
back
story.
in time now.
Of course,
Oh,
his
yeah.
dad
That
was
a big
also
story.
a pastor here, and
Oh yeah, he
at
was.
the
Right.
time.
And then Kobe's dad is a police officer.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
he was. at
Was
the
he
time.
involved in that case at all?
He was not involved in that case. In fact, my dad, like, he was a reserve police officer. That wasn't his full-time job. His full-time, he was the head of the Department of Corrections and all that stuff, so
that's
forth.
right.
So
Okay.
the police thing was just his way, almost giving back to the community. You know what I'm saying, and staying involved like that. You know, he's a military guy and everything. So, but no, he wasn't involved in that. But just when it happened, the Snyder officials came to us and they knew how close we all were, and that's what used to make appearances to the schools. I think like they
Right.
come into the school to
Yeah.
talk to kids, and they was like, we need to get you all in there to talk to Crane. I think we may have talked at Snyder first, and then you had us come maybe here or,
Yeah,
or-
It
Probably.
was. It was,
Was
at
it
the
here?
library.
Yeah,
'cause
okay.
we do the show here. Man, when you told me, I was like, wow, you were taking me back in
Right.
time.
Yeah, I'll never forget it. You know. So I mean.
Well, yeah, that was a pretty monumental event
It
in your
was.
life.
You were starred twice in one lifetime.
Yeah, pretty much.
Bam.
All right, so next question.
Oh, I got questions.
Are
too.
there any? Yeah, but those are test questions.
These are juicy questions. We gotta.
we wanna have fun though first.
Well, we gotta make
I
sure
gotta
we get
refresh my
to it.
memory, huh?
So I
We don't have
remember.
much
I
time, so we
remember
gotta
one
get
of.
to these.
I remember one of the times, the first times that you were gonna get on the court after going through the class, and we were getting ready to walk through the gym doors, or actually the school doors, and you were like, "Oh, I'm getting a little nervous now,"
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
and I just thought it was. I thought it was cute, but we've all been there,
Oh, for sure.
you know, as officials, and
yeah.
even still today, there are times where, you know, there's a game that I'm getting ready to do, and I get a little nervous. And they really say if you ever get to a point where you're not nervous working a game, maybe you're too comfortable.
Oh wow. Okay. I
Maybe
can see
you
that.
know, maybe you should kind of step back, because if we get too comfortable, then maybe we're not taking it as serious.
Right.
And so I try not to get too comfortable. But are there any, thinking back or thinking of the last game or something that you did, is there anything that you can think of like as a rule that you have that is a pet peeve? Something that you like or don't like? I know, like for me, a pet peeve of mine that we always talk about is jerseys being tucked in.
Right.
So
right.
him, it was the carry dribble. Now, I don't really know what your pet peeve is. I guess just coaches.
Being yelled at.
Yeah, coaches
Oh,
just need to
that's
coach. And
Pretty much.
Yeah, I don't have a lot of patience for that.
Exactly.
But what about you?
I love
Honestly-
you coaches, but I just don't have a lot of patience for it.
Right, there you go. Honestly, I don't know if I have a pet peeve right now. My biggest thing is like you said, the yelling, you know what I'm saying? But at the same time,
Well, especially
same
because you know
time,
people don't realize
that I'm new.
that you're new.
Exactly.
You know, and then they see you, and you know you've got a nice stature.
right, for sure.
And they don't care.
They don't.
Yeah.
And I found that out the hard way. But at the same time, a lot of the yelling that I've heard and a lot of the things that's been said is also helped me to get tougher, thicker skin. I remember you all said that to me before about the alligator skin. So
Right.
I've had the opportunity to to experience that firsthand. You know what I'm saying? quite a few
So
times.
do
you
you
know.
pinch him, see if he has alligators.
That's still pretty soft.
Still pretty
Right.
That's still pretty soft.
Ooh.
All right, so we
That's
gotta
not
we gotta
good to
do.
be called a soft official.
Wow.
No, I'm not
Man,
calling
man.
him
Oh, that's
soft.
exactly what
That's
she called.
not
She
what I
called
called
you
you.
a
I think I've heard that too.
soft
No, it's been,
All right, so we
All
got
right.
some questions for you. And if
right.
you get any of them wrong, we're revoking your license. Pick one.
wow.
And there's actually written on front and back, so you can
So you
read.
can look and
you can
see
look
which
and
one you
decide
wanna go
which one
with.
you want to read, but
Oh,
then you
okay.
got to read it out loud.
Some of these are ones that we had
Oh,
from the
okay.
class. Look at the other one.
Okay.
Unless you're
Unless
just going to
you-
be bold and do both.
Well, I
Because
mean,
you're all that.
right. We can give that a shot too.
Oh,
We'll
check
see.
him out.
Okay.
He does have this. I don't think that's soft skin anymore.
No?
Right.
We'll
All right,
see.
which one you want to go with first?
Permit to replace the squad. Okay. I'll go with the one over here first. This says, is it okay for the team members on the bench to yell during the opposite team's free throw shots? True or false? That is false. They cannot yell.
Have you had that happen before?
I have not had that happen.
So why can they not yell?
And honestly, I don't know the answer to that. Why? You know what I'm saying? I just know I've just been around the game for so long. I know that they're not allowed to do it, but I guess it gives a distraction. You know what I'm saying?
It would be
unwanted-
unsporting conduct.
unsporting
Unsporting
conduct. Okay.
Have you ever?
Yeah.
Do you remember the term disconcerting?
The shooter.
Disconcerting the shooter. Do you remember
okay.
that? When we talk about when they're on the free throw lane,
Mm-hmm.
like the players on the free throw lane also cannot talk to the shooter.
Right.
Remember?
Right.
Because
But
that's
they kind of
disconcerting.
do. You
They
remember,
do
you
because
remember
they
they'll
say things like,
I got
"Who's
the
got the
shooter?
shooter?
Who's got the
Right.
shooter?
I got shooter."
You just said that 17 times.
Yeah.
Stop saying that.
Right.
Exactly.
I'm just talking to my teammates 17 times.
Yeah.
Right.
And
That
I'll tell,
loud?
And I'll tell some players who won't listen, I'll say, you know, if you do that again and he misses a shot, I'm giving him a shot. You can't do that.
Yeah, I can.
Yeah.
All right, you want to go with the second one?
All right, let's see what we got here. The head coach and assistant coaches may stand during the interval permitted to replace a disqualified player. The head coach and
I think he picked the other question because he wasn't sure he knew that one.
I don't know if I know that one.
Right.
What is it?
And to me, yeah, I'm gonna say the head coach can, but maybe assistant as well.
Don't second guess yourself.
Right, I'm gonna. Yeah,
As an
I'll
official, stick to your guns.
There you go. I'll stick to the head coach.
Right or wrong, sell it.
Another thing I've definitely been learning.
So what do you
Right.
think, Tanya? Think you got the answer to that?
It's probably the head coach, but I don't know that I would penalize if both were up, as long as they were doing what they were supposed to be doing.
To get
Technically,
disqualified
only
player.
the head coach
Okay.
can stand for substitutes
Replace.
going in and out of the game. Why? Because assistant coaches are there to assist the head coach,
Right.
and they're not really allowed to stand and participate like the head coach can. Because if they could, then there wouldn't be any difference between the head coach and the assistant coach.
Exactly.
And that's one thing I
Right.
guess that I have a problem with assistant coaches coaches period who yell at me. Your job is to coach your team, not to
Right.
coach me.
Exactly.
And we'll say that. We said that before in pregame
Right.
with the coaches, our head coach. We're approachable, but we're not coachable.
Yeah.
They'll
Right.
laugh about it, and I'm looking at them going, I'm serious.
Yeah. Yeah. And we always tell them the other thing is don't yell at me across the
sure.
court. You know, wait till I come back around.
Right.
And then, then we can have a discussion like two adults.
There
All
you
right,
go.
I'm going to read this one.
Okay.
Okay. We got to read quickly.
Yes. Ooh, it is a violation to dribble the ball while taking the ball out before throwing it in. True or false?
It's a violation to dribble the ball.
Yes. So the
Out
player's
of
standing,
bounds.
you give them the spot, you say you got the spot, you give them the ball, they're standing there, and they're going, ready, go. They stop the ball, then they bounce it a couple times.
Oh no, you can't do that.
Can't do that? Okay.
No.
What would you call?
He's bouncing it out of bounds now, behind the out of bounds line.
Right. Well, hey, that's out of bounds then.
Okay.
That's a turnover,
So you would just blow your whistle and give the ball to the team.
pretty much.
Okay. You'd be wrong. Yeah, because when
Because they're out of bounds.
they're out of bounds, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now remember,
So-
you have a 5-second count.
Right. So they
So-
can actually dribble the
yeah.
ball?
But
long as they do
only
everything-
as long as they didn't get the ball in before the 5 seconds.
They can do
is
anything
up.
they
Really?
want. They
So-
just can't run because you're giving them a spot.
Right, for sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we have a lot more questions, but we're running out of time. So,
Yep.
but we want to thank you for coming on the show today.
And the first one on our new format.
Oh, yeah,
So
it's
we're
nice
super
format,
excited.
too.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we're excited about that.
So we want to fill you guys in on what we have going on. So we do have The Hoosier 3-on-3 basketball tournament is going to be going on at Turnstone. She whispered that. I like how she did that. Hoosier 3-on-3 basketball tournament.
Hoosier 3-on-3.
Who's your 3-on-3?
And that'll be at Turnstone on July 12th, which is a Friday. Start approximately 2 to 2:30. Then we also have Ref Training School.
Yep, we do have a volleyball class that will be in August. We'll be starting that up in August, the first Sunday at Empowered. And so you can go to our website, reftrainingschool.com, to register.
So we want to thank you again for joining us, and we'll be coming back to you soon with another segment of Ref Time. Thanks again, Koby.
Thanks, Koby.
Yes, thank you all.
Take care, everybody.